Hey, it's Carmina Mebs here. How you doing? It's what, Tuesday? And it's already December. How did the year go by so fast? I don't know. But I do, as always, appreciate you being here, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay. I'm so happy that we get to spend some time together because today we have to talk about a disease. It's not a fun topic. Um, it's kind of like a somber topic, but it is a topic we need to talk about. It's the sitting disease. Now, I'm curious, do you have an office job? Do you spend most of your day behind a desk? Let me know. Let me know in the comment, like, what is most of your day like? Do you have an opportunity? Do you work on the floor? Like, if you're a nurse and you have to be on the floor, or you work in a store where you have to move around, you are in so much better shape than those of us who have an office job where we're pretty much sitting down the entire day. So let me know. I would love to get a sense of how many of us, are in that situation because I'd be curious to see if it ladders up to what the research says. So the this is an important topic. One that, sorry, I'm just trying to share it with our friends at Walk It Off. One that is not really talked about, but just like water, I feel it's one of those things that we must talk about. And by the way, what I'm sharing with you today is part of my Ditch the Diet ebook. So if you'd like to dig in deeper and discover the 7 secrets to achieving permanent weight loss, stick around because I'm going to share the link with you where you can download it for free. All right. So I, as I was researching this topic, I was kind of remembering, right, when after college, when I got my first job, my first corporate job, which was a sitting desk type of job. And, it dawned on me like there were so many changes happening during that time that, as a kid, you never think about this is what the adult life is like. Things like, hey, you no longer have a summer vacation. You're lucky if you get what do you get now? Like 10 days if you're lucky, right? You get 10 days vacation. You're like you won the lottery. Things like being able to shoot the breeze whenever you want to. You went to class and then you went to have lunch with your friends and then maybe you had another class, but you had so much free time and we took it for granted. I certainly did. So that was like one of the adaptation to adult life, to working a full-time job, is kind of like that loss of freedom, right? Not being able to do all those things. But I think the one thing that really caught me off guard a little bit is how much sitting around I would be doing as an adult. You know, like we, we kind of, as a result of getting that corporate job, which, it's great because we're making more money, but we lose, a lot of the natural activities, right, that we used to do, right? And as a result, it is no wonder that the 5 to 10 pounds that they say that you gain when you're in college, it's nothing in comparison to the 20 plus pound that you gain, your first year at a job. This is crazy. It really took me a little bit of time to realize, hey, I have lost a significant amount of my activity level by the, as a result of having an office, um, an office job, right? You sit at the desk, you know, for those of us who are lucky enough, and I'm not shooting down jobs because we need jobs, right, to support our lifestyles, to support our family. So I'm not shooting them down. I'm simply noticing, with that, we pay for it with our health a little bit. I mean, not a little bit, a big bit, right? Um, Typically 9 to 5 is never really 9 to 5. It's more like 9 to 6, 9 to 6:30. And I have noticed that for most of that 9 to 5, for like the 8 hours plus, I was actually just sitting at my desk. There was not a lot of moving around, right? If I had to go to a meeting, I went to the meeting, but then the meeting, you are still sitting down. If I went out to lunch or to eat lunch, I was again sitting down. So, and forget about it if, when there was a time I used to drive to work, so sitting another 2 hours driving in the car, a lot of sitting around. And then we get home, what do? We sit down, we have dinner. We sit down, we watch TV. And then it's time to go to bed. So, in all that flurry of activities, there's really very little time left for standing, right? And I was reading this article by, what was this guy's name again? James Levine. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. He's a professor at of medicine at the Mayo Clinic, and the title of the article was "Sitting is the New Smoking," and I was like, "Geez, that's kind of like extreme. It's kind of a little bit dramatic, right?" But the more I read the article, the more I came to agree with him that sitting, like the chair, is public enemy number one, right? I mean, yeah, you don't think, when you think about what's going to kill you, what's going to threaten your life, you don't think about the chair. But stick around, and I think you will agree the damage that the chair is doing to our health, right? So here, what are the facts, right? Because you know me, I love the facts. The facts are that there is a lot of research about that sitting business, right? And from the research, the scientists determined that when you when you are able to reduce the time that you spend sitting, you are effectively reducing your chances of getting cancer, your chances of type 2 diabetes, for heart disease, for back pain, and all of that with a simple life change. It's just reduce the amount of time that you're sitting. Now, remember, your DNA has a long memory. So think about, our ancestors, way back when they were always on the move, right? They were hunters, they were gatherers, and then they became farmers, right? The humankind, that's what we did for a living. And then even with the Industrial Revolution, it was mostly manufacturing jobs. So people were on their feet, they were moving, they were not sitting down. So as a matter of fact, there was a study that they did. They had census data from 1915, and in 1915 there were less than 1 million workers who had professional, they were employed in professional services. Most people either worked in farms or they worked in manufacturing, and when you compare it to 100 years later, that number is now 41 million people have are employed in professional services, meaning that most of their days is spent at a desk. Now, do we want to go back to those days? No, I'm not advocating for that, but I do want to bring to your attention that our DNA, our body was meant to move. It was not meant to be sitting down. So it's no surprise that a lot of things in our health, like obesity, type 2 diabetes, all those things, it's not a surprise that things start to go south, as they say, right? Now you may be thinking, well, Karina, I exercise every day, so that should not be a problem. But that's the cincher, right? Because exercise that does not negate the adverse effect of extended periods of sitting. Okay, because you know an hour of exercise is not going to cancel out the rest of the 23 hours of the day where you're not moving, where you're just sitting at a desk, right? So obviously exercise is good. Exercise is good for you. But the cure to too much sitting is not exercise. The cure to too much sitting is finding pockets of activities throughout your day. And we're going to talk about that some more. But the bottom line is for the average person, you could never exercise enough to counteract the effect of 10 hours of sitting down and being inactive. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope it does. So let's talk a little bit about the consequences of sitting down so much. Well, I'll first mention the obvious one. The obvious one is that when you sit down for hours, what is happening to your body is that your metabolism slows down. So for those of us who are, trying to lose weight, we're on a weight loss journey, you should know that even though you exercise this morning, the fact that you spend 8, 9, 10 hours at work sitting down is not doing you any service, because your metabolism naturally starts to slow down when you sit for extended period of times. Okay, because think about it, the fluids and the enzymes are not moving. Your muscles are at rest, right? Because there's no activity, there's no electricity going through your muscles when you're sitting down, right? And it's even been shown that after 20 minutes, after 2 hours of sitting down, your good cholesterol level drops down by 20%. Okay? So it is no surprise that sitting for an extended period of time increases the chances for obesity, right? Conversely, if you were to stand for 3 hours per day, 5 days a week, it adds up to 750 calories burned. So in a year, we're talking about 30,000 calories, which is about 9 pounds. So do you see what I'm saying? Just by standing 3 hours a day, you could save yourself 9 pounds in a year. Okay? The other thing that researchers have noticed is that when you sit down too much, people who sit down too much tend to have back pain, neck pain, sciatica pain, and that's because when you sit down, you apply 90% more pressure on your lower back than if you were standing. Okay? It's even been proven that excessive sitting is linked to cancer. Now, that's pretty sad. But if you have too much inactivity, too many periods of inactivity, that will increase your chances of getting cancer. Not surprisingly, it also increases your chances of cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. Now, the one thing I want you to note is that in all those research, what they concluded is that the amount of time that you're sitting was more important. It was a more important factor than the amount of time that you were exercising. Okay? So, what is the solution? I mean, it's pretty obvious. We have to stand up more, right? But it's not so easy. It's not. It doesn't come naturally. I mean, it's kind of a sad thing to say, but it doesn't. We don't think naturally about standing up. You know, if you go to a meeting, people will, invite you to sit down, right? People almost feel weird if somebody is standing up. Like, why don't you sit down? Let me get you a chair, right? So our natural inclination is to find somewhere to sit, right? And that's what makes it so difficult. It's not the ooh, my hair is a mess. It's not what should it's not the action of standing that is the problem. It's just finding, making it part of our new normal. That is the problem, right? Now, I shared with you that just by standing alone, you can lose weight. But the thing is, beyond so apparently you can burn an average of 50 calories or more per hour just by standing. Now, just the fact of you getting up is setting everything back in motion, and it's going to start to counteract all those negative consequences that we talked about with sitting down too long. Okay, so just the act of standing up is like it's a step in the right direction. Because the thing with standing is that it gets tiring, right? So the ultimate goal, if you would be to spend about half of the time that you spend at work sitting than you do sitting down. So the reality of it is, one, it's hard to do if you have an office job that requires you to be at the computer to type and everything, if you don't have a standing desk, right? Now, more and more companies are investing in those desks that are flexible, like you can raise them up and then raise them down when you want to sit down. Very, very practical. The reason they do it is because, again, the research has proven all the negative effect on their workers' health. So, a company wants to keep you healthy, because when you're healthy, you produce more and you cost them less, right, in insurance costs. So more and more companies are starting to include standing desks in their offices. But in case your company does not provide something like that, just know that, the fact that you're standing up from time to time, going for a short walk, that is also very beneficial to your health. So what I would suggest is maybe you set an alarm on your clock for every 20 to 30 minutes as a reminder to just get up and just take a quick walk. If you are used to going to the restroom on the same floor, why not go to the restroom on another floor, right? That's going to give you a reason to move around more. If you're going to meet with someone, instead of emailing them, if you're going to meet with someone, why don't make it a walking meeting, right? Instead of going to a conference room and sitting down, if it's just you and somebody, one other person or two, it's kind of original. Why don't we go for a walk and then we can talk about whatever is it that we have to talk about, right? Instead of sending somebody an email, just get up and go talk to the person. Sometimes it blows my mind how much we've come to rely on technology to do things that, humanly it was so natural to just go talk to people. Now, very rarely do I get people coming to my desk, and I'm a project manager. It means that people have to talk to me and I have to talk to them all the time, right? But most people, and they're sitting sometimes 2 seats away from me, they will send me an instant messenger. They will send me an email. And I'm guilty of that too. I'm just saying, like, naturally we tend to revert to technology to do something that before it would have been so natural to just get up and go talk to somebody, right? Now, if you do have a standing desk option at your job, first of all, obviously, I'm encouraging you to use it. But I would say just be mindful not to overdo it, because it happened to me when I moved into my new office space at work where we did have standing desks. And I kind of got excited about it, and so I started standing all the time. But I did it too fast and too soon, right? Because it does. And then I love wearing heels, so that didn't help. So if you're going to stand, make sure that that you wear comfortable shoes. So apparently there is some doctors who say you shouldn't wear heels. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that because I love my heels. My heels are my power statement. I love wearing heels. So anyway, just a little thing for you to know, right? So just the act, the action of standing up is going to start initiating a shift in the fluids in your body, in the hormones in your body. It's going to cause your muscles to contract and the nerves in your body to be stimulated. So, again, I would encourage you to set an alarm for yourself, to remind yourself to get up from your seat. You don't have to go for a quick walk, although it would be better, but go out for a quick tour around the office and then come back and sit down. And then gradually start increasing the amount of time that you're spending standing up at your desk. And you're going to feel better. Okay. I mean, yes, like I said, most people report losing weight doing that, standing more. But to me, it's such small potatoes when you think about all the health benefits that you get from doing that activity. The health benefits, the energy that you get, whenever you're active, you have more energy to spend, right? But I found that I have so much better clarity and focus at work when I implement those, when I stand up more, right? Because when you're sitting down, it I don't know, kind of drains the energy a little bit, and also your posture changes for the better when you stand more. Because then when you're sitting down, by default, you're probably leaning, your computer is not at your eye level, so you're leaning towards it. You're leaning to type, and so naturally your body tends to slouch. So when you stand more, right, the muscles in your body are being activated, and that gives you a much nicer, better posture. All right, so I hope that this little talk has encouraged you to want to stand up more. And as I was saying before, if you like this, you will love my Ditch the Diet action guide. It's a perfect companion for the topic that we talked about today. I talk about it in the book as well. And the Ditch the Diet action guide is going to walk you through this and many more strategies that you can use in your day-to-day life to achieve permanent weight loss, right? To get your hands on that handy dandy guide, all you have to do is go to bit.ly/ditch the diet mindset, and just tell me where to send it. Just give me your email address and it will land in your inbox. So I will put the link to request your free copy in the comments when we're done, but you can simply go to that address. It's pretty easy to remember. Ditch the diet mindset at bit.ly. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you today. And let me know in the comments, is that something that you would be willing to try? Are you willing to try spending more, a little bit more, progressively, gradually working your way up to whatever the goal that you set for yourself? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much, as always, for being here with me, whether you watch it live or you watch the replay. I value your time. I hope this was helpful. And if you know other office workers that would benefit from this information, hey, please, would you consider sharing this video? Just click on the share button that is below this video, and you will spread some goodness in the world today. So with that, I want to say I'm hoping to see you here tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is Wednesday. It's Weighing Wednesday, where I reveal my progress in my 40-pound journey. It's a much shorter, it's just a quick touch base, just to let you know how I'm doing, where I'm at, and hopefully encourage you on your own journey. So with that, I want to say good night, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.